know a lot about golf.
Well, we're waiting.
And we say hello because it's us. No
always
more
us.
waiting. It is always us. Those weekend golf guys. John Ashton in the studio. Jeff Smith at the golf cave.
That's right.
At Timbergate Golf Course.
You know,
Doesn't look like Indiana behind you, man.
no, it doesn't. I think it's someplace in beautiful Idaho. Look at the blue water back there. Isn't that awesome? I'm gonna lean to the side. Look at that. Look at that golf hole back there.
Man,
Yeah,
that
doesn't
not
stink,
a
huh?
sight you see outside the window.
How about me with the cool Zoom background, huh? Yeah. Gonna get you to draw that same thing. Gotta get. What golf course are you gonna put back there? I found this one bad.
I got my my trophy.
Your trophy? Yeah.
Yeah, see that?
Is that the thing next to the M&M guy?
Yeah, thing next to the M&M guy, man.
Okay, good.
That's it. That is it.
You buy that yourself. How much that thing cost you anyway? Like 60, 70 bucks?
Yeah, because that's how much I had to pay to join the scramble, man.
I said, wait, a scramble? You got a trophy for a scramble?
We won first place. The team. Yeah. Scramble and a whole $75 to spend in the pro shop.
There you go.
Yeah, jump on back.
Oh, is that what they did? They charged you $75 for the trophy? Hey, John, you can have a few dozen balls, or you can have this fancy trophy.
Which would you prefer? I got both. The trophy I kept, the balls I lost in about a month. So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today. We're going to talk about some cute little gadgets and gizmos. We're going to talk about how far you really should expect to hit your shots.
Yeah, because
we
all know that people think it's farther than what it really is.
Exactly. And also going to talk about rain. And
mean like the human rain delay? You know, like the people that take forever to play? That kind of rain? No.
Not that rain. Real rain. The wet kind. The kind that shows up at the most inopportune moments. I'm thinking that somewhere up there, whoever creates rain, Mother Nature, God, whoever, watches intently for John to make a tea time. And it's just, should we do it 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after?
After. Always after, right? Because right there on the middle of the first fairway. Right there. Just do it.
Got some stories, or at least a story, intrepid producer Mark and I ran into last week, and we will tell you that and a bunch more good stuff when we come right back, hang out. We are those weekend golf guys. It is us, those weekend golf guys. I am John Ashton. He is Jeff Smith, you can tell. And by the way, if you were to go to Patreon and kick in a couple bucks, you could watch us on video.
You know, we're not going to yell about that either, right?
It
pretty
may
cool.
or may not entice you to do that, but it's pretty cool. We may put the first one up on YouTube just to show you how wonderful it can be.
or how scary it could be. I don't know what.
Right. Whatever. So, okay. You know, last week there was this terrible hurricane in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Decimated St. Charles and a bunch of smaller towns on the Gulf Coast down there. And our sympathies and anything we can do to help, let us know. If, you know, I know a lot of people now, they're back to using golf tournaments to raising money and stuff like that. You want to throw a couple of golf tournaments to help those folks out. That would
We'd be happy to promote those.
We were waiting as we watched. I mean, I'm sitting in Kentucky right now. Okay. That's our home base. Jeff's in Indiana. We watched the weather maps showing the projection of the storm coming up through the Tennessee River Valley and up through the Ohio River Valley and going to cover all kinds. And we were waiting for inundation. Didn't happen. It was supposed to be raining all day Saturday, all day Sunday here, according to the weather maps.
Yeah.
So intrepid producer Mark and I make a tea time for Friday. Get it in, just under the weather, right? So we're driving, you know, individually to the course. I'm 32 miles away from the course. He's about 12. We get to the Ohio River because we have to cross the Ohio River to play in Indiana.
Yeah.
As soon as we get to the other side of the river, raindrops start hitting the screen, the windshield. So we pull into the parking lot. We get there about
Keep you
the same
Kentucky
time.
boys back home.
That's right. We pull into the parking lot. We park side by side, and we say, "Well, what do you think?" And he looks at me, and being the Caddyshack fan he said, "I don't think the heavy stuff's coming down for a while yet." So we decided we're going to wait it out. So we go down to the pro shop and say, "We're here," and they say, "Well, you may want to wait a while."
Thanks for letting us know.
So we went up to the bar and commenced to drinking heavy.
There you go.
Got to do something just to wait. So we're having a good time, just talking, and it let up. And they're like, "Hey, it's not raining." Fantastic. So you finish the drink, you pay the tab, you go downstairs, you say, "Okay, we're ready now." You get the card, you take the card out to the parking lot, you open up the back of the car, you put the clubs on the car, and it starts raining again.
Here it comes. Yep.
So we pulled onto the veranda underneath a conveniently pitched tent where the gloves and the cart didn't get wet. Went back into the bar and continued drinking heavily. It was about 2 hours later when it stopped and we could actually see some blue sky. So we figured, it's over. So we got out there and we got in 7 holes before it started raining again. And then we said, let's just drink.
Just commenced to drinking again.
That's it. Let's just put the clubs away. Let's just drink, have some lunch, consider it a bad investment, and go home. And that's what we did. But again,
somewhere along the line there, I managed to call you. And we talked about the commenced to drinking.
Well, we were drinking heavy.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
I think you said some pretty funny things there. Do you remember what they were?
No.
In that case, you're not getting credit for being funny.
No, I mean, it was a fun time. Even just 7 holes is fun. I mean, it's frustrating when because we had to quit the 8th hole. No, we only did 6 because the 7th one is my favorite hole on that course. It's a nice par 5. The fairway runs like 90 degree or maybe but 85-degree angle to the tee. So you cut off, and if you cut it correctly, you're going to miss the big trees. But if you don't aim correctly, you're going to go right into these big trees and have a terrible time. But it's a great par 5. I love it. I love it because I always par it. He said, "No, watch me. I'll never par it again."
Yeah, right. I was going to say, that's the kiss of death, right? Here's what I always do on this hole. Next 5 times you play that hole, it's not even going to be close. Mark's going to send me a text going, "Nope, didn't par it again."
So then Sunday, when we didn't expect to be able to play, we did, because on Sundays, not only can you hear our national show wherever you catch the radio show on the radio or whatever, but we also do a local show here in town later on that morning, live from a golf course. And it was a little bit humid, but the sun was shining and it was beautiful. It was dry. There weren't any residual puddles. I mean, this whole hurricane thing was pretty disappointing from our standpoint.
Well, you do tend to live inland.
Well, this is true. This is true. Well, I know we had
middle of the country, so to speak, or close to it.
Close to it. Well,
you tend to get more tornadoes in Indiana and Kentucky than you do hurricanes. I think there's a reason for that.
Yes, indeed. But anyhow, but Sunday we had a great time. I just got to tell you a quick story about Sunday. It was just intrepid producer Mark and I were playing, and the course was pretty busy because every golf course is busy these days. Golf rounds are up substantially. Golf sales are up substantially.
Yeah.
Because there have been so many guys who have gone to their garage, pulled out those 5-year-old clubs, rekindled their love for the game, and then realized that technology has passed them by.
Yeah.
So they got to catch up really quick, right?
I've done more fittings this year than I do in regular years. In other years, right?
It surprised me a bit, man.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of there's guys out there going, I'm not spending enough money doing other things, and I'm playing more golf, so I'm going to invest in more equipment. So next thing you know, hey, can you fit me for this? And can you fit me for that? And, I need new wedges. And what do you think about these things? And, so yeah, it's happening.
It is happening, definitely. One of the guys that they hooked us up with, they hooked us with 2 singles, basically.
Mhm.
And one of the guys, it was the second time ever he had played golf.
And they put him with you because they knew you could handle it.
That's right. Because I wouldn't show him up.
They figured
No.
John's jovial. Maybe they'll keep this guy in the game.
What the owner of the club, Kerry, who we were at, basically said, like, these guys not only they'll entertain you and they can teach you a thing or two. And I went, yeah, only if we channel Mr. Jeff Smith. and we did a couple of times. We fixed his grip. We did your
Good.
the grip thing you talked about a couple of weeks ago, man. And the guy, when he made contact, man, he could hit it a mile. But
then there wasn't much contact, is what you
making
somewhat
contact
just said.
was a little difficult.
That was the thing, huh?
Yeah.
Do you show up to the golf course in the theme of swing hard in case you hit it?
Basically, yeah. That's what he was told.
Yeah.
Grab it tight, swing it hard.
Yep.
And then
John
watch
Daly,
where it
baby.
goes.
Grip
Yeah.
it, rip it. Let's go.
Yep. But he also is just about to graduate from recruiting school in the Army.
Oh,
And they were going to send him up to Flint, Michigan, which I said, gee, I'm sorry.
don't drink the water.
Yeah, don't drink the water. But anyhow, he was great. But we did tell him that, I mean, he's still down at Fort Knox and will be for about another 2 months. So we did tell him to run up to exit 80 of I-65 in Edinburgh, Indiana, and tell Jeff Smith John Ashton sent him.
Well, if he's coming from Fort Knox, he needs to bring some gold with him. Okay. I don't care how he gets it.
Do you know
I'm
that
not
even if you
picky.
pause on the golf hole of the Lindsay Golf Course, which is on the grounds of Fort Knox, separated by about 3 very high fences from the gold depository building itself, that even if you pause to take a picture, there will be military police arriving from someplace you've never seen. You don't know where they come from,
They're
but all
springing out of the ground.
magically there.
Really?
Yeah.
How
In
about
fact,
that?
a guy I know told a story. He was playing golf there and somebody hit a ball very bad over the fence. And, he was like, I can see the ball is right there. I'm going to try to get it. He started reaching through the fence. And as he's, reaching, and you know how you look down
Yeah,
when you
right.
he heard and looked up, and there were 3 soldiers with guns drawn on them saying, "Don't think the ball is worth it, sir. Move along." And he did.
Yeah.
And he did.
Did he ask him to pick it up and toss it back to him?
They told him no, they kept those.
They're golfers themselves.
How do you think we get our stash, man? Come on. Move along. The ball is ours. We've got more stories. We've got a lot more to talk about. And we're coming right back, so stick with us. Hey, we're back. Thanks for hanging. Those Weekend Golf Guys. I'm John Ashton. He is Jeff Smith. I'm in the studio. He is at the golf cave at Berkeley Golf Course.
I'm contractually obligated to hang here.
You are.
Well, the rest of the people, they're not. So we're pretty appreciative that they're sticking around.
I've got some
Even
some
those people up
facts.
in Boston, we're happy about them.
Oh man, and that's good news too, because and I'm sorry guys, we are on WEEI AM in Boston, which is the flagship station of the Red Sox broadcast network.
I can't believe I even brought that up.
The Red Sox, who aren't doing very well this year. I mean, it's a bad year to begin with, but still, come on, stop making that noise. There you go. But we're glad to be there, and at least we can be a bright spot in your sports now, because the Red Sox are losing. So play some more golf. Don't worry about it. All right.
Yeah, that's it. Just play golf.
You heard us a couple of weeks ago talk about Shot Scope, the watch, the GPS, which is the most accurate GPS. I found out why they have 2 different antennae inside. So they basically
like ants.
They take 2 different, yes, just like ants.
You're doing the finger thing, and it's like
they take 2 separate readings.
Lobsters.
And put them together. That's the cockroach of the sea, the lobster.
Great.
There you go. Say that often enough and you lose your appetite.
Somehow I don't think they're going to be sponsors anymore.
Thanks to you, but they have compiled a lot of information over the course of 2 years, because what comes with it, as we mentioned, is little things to put at the bottom of your club, which automatically send information to the watch on how far you've hit that shot.
Right.
And they've come up with all kinds of little tidbits of information.
Like how far you didn't hit the shot?
Like how far you didn't hit the shot. One thing that really might surprise you, a lot of people look, and even low handicappers will look and say, well, it's not a very long fairway. Maybe I should just lay up and hit a 3-wood off the tee. Okay. Well, let me tell you, you're no Dustin Johnson, so it probably won't help. And a lot of people say, well, my 3-wood's more accurate. Well, again, unless you're a pro, it probably won't help. Average driver versus 3-wood. Average driver, 242 yards. Average 3-wood, 214 yards. 52% fairway accuracy for drivers, 53% fairway accuracy for a 3-wood. Does that surprise you, Winnie?
It does. It does. And the reason is because I hear so many statistics from so many different areas, and I hear, as a golf professional, I'm listening to an awful lot of people with an awful lot of tech talking about pros an awful lot. Mm-hmm. And so I hear different things so often, this guy versus that guy. And as a whole, this group of players, this 20 handicap group and the 30 handicappers, they're doing this. And
right.
So I hear a lot of different statistics. So it does surprise me that there was such a distance difference between the drivers and the 3-woods, because I wouldn't put it that much just from the other things that I'd heard.
Right. Another thing too is they've compiled average driver performance by handicap. So they say that if your handicap is under a 10, 9 and below, the average driver distance is 243 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are for good golfers.
Yeah, that's right. That's not a surprise to me.
No, but a lot of us look and go, well, I'm supposed to hit this 250 minimum. No, you're not.
Yeah.
If your handicap is between 10 and 17, the average is 223 yards.
How about that? You're going to send me these statistics, aren't you? They emailed them to you, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about that? I'm going to want those, because I think that there's some good information on that. What's the sample size of that? Do you know?
It's over 50,000.
That's a lot of golfers, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah. And then if your handicap is 18 to 24 or 18 to 28, as it says, the average is 210 yards. So you take all that together.
So you're saying that you're saying that the 18 to 24 handicappers are the biggest group of liars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just check.
Actually, see, this is why this is accurate, because this is taken from because what happens is when your club communicates with your watch, the shot scope watch, the watch is communicating. Okay.
Yeah.
The folks in Switzerland know what you just did.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So now I want to know what happened. Can it detect breakage? That's what I want to know.
Jeff wants to know how to hack the watch to just mess up all the statistics.
Figure that out.
But this makes the overall driver performance average 225 yards, taking all handicaps into consideration.
How about that?
Yeah. So a lot of people, in fact, I play with some guys on a regular basis. We hit great drives. I mean, you look at it and you go, wow, man, that felt good. That looked good. I'm feeling my oomph. And then you get out there and you do the math, and it's still, he says, it's only 210, 220 yards. Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Like, you killed it.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
32% of us, no matter who we are, 32% of us hit our drives between 200 and 224 yards every time. Well, not every time, but that's what we average.
And that is why we play the appropriate set of tees to have fun.
Exactly. And that's the one thing, I mentioned play played with a guy who was his second ever time playing golf.
Yeah.
And he wanted to play from, the blue tees. And it was like, yeah, okay, you are 6'1", and you are probably 23 years old. When you hit it far. But let's not take 3 shots to get from the black tees to where we're teeing off. Right now you need to tee it up closer.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally convinced him of that.
Because you were tired of waiting to play.
Yeah, and the last 3 shots he had, the last 3 holes he enjoyed much more.
Yeah.
And
I think the people that move back so far, they put themselves under position to think, oh my gosh, now I've done it. Now I've really got to hit it hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then they swing harder.
Yeah.
And then
which is a kiss of death right there.
It's a tough deal. Yeah.
And one more thing, if you're taking notes too, here's some average performances for irons. And I'm not going to break them down by handicap because that gets too much into the weeds. I'm just going to give you the overall averages. Overall average for a 4-iron is 185 yards. And that's a range of 173 for high handicappers to 196 for low handicappers.
Interesting.
Average for 5-iron is 174.
Right.
Average for 6 is 163. For 7 is 153. For an 8 is 141. And for a 9 is 129.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
And that's total distance. That's not carry distance. That's total distance.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to ask you, because if it's a GPS thing, and they got another club out, it has to be total distance. I can't tell you, what.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. When you're looking at that par 3 over water, that's 153 yards.
Yeah, you better.
And you realize
club up.
Yeah, maybe I should hit my 6.
I did a video on that. I was standing at the Sagamore on the 11th hole, all carry over water. Here I am, 140 some odd yards, and there's a little wind in my face.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people pulling out 9-irons. I'm looking at the camera, going, here's a simple thought. I'd like to putt my next ball. So let's pull out the 8.
Uh-huh.
And even if we think, it's too much club. It's too much club.
Yeah. Don't
take anything off of it. Just hit it, because you don't know what the wind's going to do.
Right.
And if the wind kind of holds it up in the air a little bit, you got some trouble now, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So turns out I hit the 8, and it wound up being about 6 feet short of the flag. Hit it well.
Yeah.
There's some wind up there.
So short.
So a little thought for everybody on the video I just made is like, hey, quick little thought for y'all.
Yeah.
Over club, over trouble.
And the other thing too that you have mentioned repeatedly, and it bears repeating again because so few of us even think about it. That whole thing when you're sitting there and you throw a little grass up in the air to see where the wind's blowing? Well, that's where the wind's blowing where you are. Yeah. That's not going to affect your ball, because your ball hopefully is not going to be at
that height,
your level, 5 feet or 6 feet off the ground.
Yeah. I laugh at somebody. There was a guy out there that I was working with the other day, and he did that, and he did it it was funny. He only did it like waist high. I'm like, really? You're going to hit the ball that low? He goes, I was just checking the wind. I'm like, okay, how about we think about, let's look at the top of these trees over here. So hopefully you're going to hit it that high. Why don't we see what it is up there?
Exactly.
What are you looking at?
Because there is nothing more frustrating than hitting a shot. And I hit one the other day, and one of the guys I was playing with, it was a sand wedge. I was just 100 yards off the green, hit a sand wedge, and it was dead on the flag. And the guy was like, man, that's a beautiful shot. And you could actually see it suspend at the top.
Uh-oh, that's a scary thought.
Just got up to the top of it, just sat there for a while, and then came down about 5 yards short. It's just, you go, no.
As it sat there for a little while, it's just looking back at you going,
that's right. You should have checked the wind.
Sorry.
How many times do we have to tell you?
Stinks to be you.
Yeah. So those are the things you have to keep in mind when you're planning your shot. Don't. And in fact, if you have something that shows you exactly what you hit it's going to be more perfect. But at least work with the averages.
Yeah.
And know that if you do hit it 225 yards, that's a great drive for you. So.
I think that a lot of people, they can't even do scorecard math because they don't want to.
Yeah.
Right. The simple scorecard math is, hey, this hole's 343 yards, and I don't have 100 yards in. I got like 120 in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hit it over 250.
That's right. You don't need the new math to figure that out.
No, you
Not
don't.
at all. Not at all.
But they don't even want to do that. They just want to say how far they hit it.
Got some stuff that you're probably going to want to know about. I just saw a thing about somebody's building a 12-hole golf course in Mississippi. We're going to find out why that happens and a lot more. We'll come right back. Yeah, those weekend golf guys. Hang on. And we're back, those weekend golf guys. John Ashton, Jeff Smith. We are looking at a bunch of stuff, and there was a story I just saw about a new golf course being built. Actually, it's not a new golf course. They're resurrecting an old golf course that has gone to seed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oops. They shut it down for a while, and then they're trying to.
Yeah, it was a country club that
Bring
just
it back?
the country club that just went out of business, and it's in Jackson, Mississippi.
Uh-huh.
The old Colonial Country Club.
Oh.
And they bought the land, but there's really no golf course there now that you can tell anymore. There's just, overgrown land. So they wanted to do something a little different. So the guys, King Collins is the design firm. Never heard of these guys before. But they're going to do a par 47, 4,315 yard, 12-hole golf course.
Okay.
There'll be 4 par 3s, 3 par 5s, 2 shared greens. And what they're saying is that they're going to make it so that you have an option. You could play just 3 holes. You could play 6. You could play 9. You could play 12. You could make it all 18 by making a combination of the 12 plus 3 or 4, 5, 6 more. Which sounds.
How are they going to route play? That'd be interesting.
No, that would be the air traffic control. The ground traffic control would be amazing on that. I'm not sure how they do it. But,
yeah. I don't know. I wonder if they have to give people right of way cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got priority 1 over this group. You know what I mean? If you're only playing 3 holes and somebody else is playing 18 and you're on those 3 and they get up to the same tee and they just kind of, hey, we got preference on this. We got to finish our round.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work, but it's an interesting idea. I don't have the knowledge of how they're going to do that. There's got to be some sort of priority system that they put in place there.
Yeah. Got to
something's going to happen.
Start 2 groups at different ends and work toward each other or whatever.
But man, if they got that thing figured out, if they can do that, I bet you they'll be busy.
Yeah. Especially it's the only golf course in the city of Jackson. So,
well, they have to be busy then.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to be,
you got to make people mad if they're not come to the only golf course in the city.
Yeah. Yeah. And also there's a place here in Kentucky called Mount Sterling where there was a great golf course called Old Silo. And for one reason or another, it just went out of business. It fell into disrepair, fewer and fewer people. I guess that's the, excuse me, the downward cycle. The conditions started getting worse, which meant fewer people went to play, which meant they had less money to improve the conditions. And it just spiraled down to where nobody went to play there anymore, and it wasn't worth to keep it open. And I sold it for a housing development or something.
Right.
But there is now one new course in that town. It is the only golf course in that town. And they have a tournament coming up, a 2-day tournament in 2 weeks that Intrepid producer Mark and I are thinking about joining. We think our friendship is close enough that we can actually survive.
You're not going to play an alternate shot tournament together, are you?
It's not a tournament. It's 2 days. The first 9 holes are alternate shot.
Yeah.
The second 9 on the first day is best ball. No, 2-man scramble. And then the second day, the first 9 are 2-man scramble, and the second 9 is best ball. So
so you only got 9 holes of hating each other.
Yes.
Okay. Well, they're smart to do it on the first 9 because everybody's in a good mood.
Yeah.
Right. And then they let you back it up with a 9-hole scramble. That's a good thought. Right. Okay, you guys can kill each other on the first 9. What do you mean?
But anyway, we think our friendship could survive. Just 9 holes. And it's not bad. It's both people tee off on all of the 9. And then you just all shot. So it's not like you have to try to predict what holes are coming up that you would be the best to tee off on or anything like that. So
Right.
it's not quite that drastic. But
So you get to choose after the tee ball?
yeah.
Okay. So it's like a modified alternate
Yeah,
shot,
you
like a
can take
Pinehurst
my
kind of
tee
thing.
shot, which will be a lot farther down the fairway, but probably less in the middle than Mark's. So
Yes.
we'll see.
You guys would be complimenting each other on scrambles.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
John, you can hit it a little farther.
Yeah.
But Mark's ball is, well,
It's always playable.
you're gonna find his.
Yep. Well, which makes
minute.
it good if you know the guy who goes first, you know he's going to hit it straight down the middle, so you can take liberties with where you aim, how you swing.
Yeah, that's
You
a
know?
good thing for you to be involved in, because that way you can claim that that's what you were doing all day.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm
it
going to
is.
swear to it, man.
Well, we had a ball in the middle. I'm swinging for the fences. Yeah.
And the trouble was, I hit the fences. That's it exactly. All right, man. So you say you got some couple new toys?
I have some fun toys that I have built, some entertainment that I have. Well, there's a couple things that are common things, right? I use something that shows people something it's pretty important. Like, where's your club face? Like, where the heck's that thing facing?
Exactly.
So I take this little magnet and it's got a little rod sticking out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of other golf pros will use these things for lie angle tools. Like, you stick it on the face of the club, and if you tilt the shaft down flatter, you see the wedge, you see it'll angle further left, and you see, you lift the handle up and goes toe down and the face angles a bit more right.
Right.
Well, so I got some smaller versions of those things, because they usually make them and they're like 1.5 feet long and they're hard to find. So I created some mini sized versions of those things. And oddly enough, I found them over at the hardware store.
Mm-hmm.
And on the auto parts store. There's those little magnetic pickup tools that, when a guy's working on something, he drops a screw down in the middle of something and he can't reach down there and go get it, and it's got this little extendable pole, like an old antenna that would expand and expand. It's got a little handle on the end, a magnet on the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just cutting the handles off, and I'm taking a little paint and putting them on the tips, the metal tips of those things, and making sure that they're nice and easy to see, but you can make them short. You can, kind of crunch them all down into a little stem, so to speak, of about, 6 inches out. And then you can have it in your pocket, and you can understand where your club face is. And then next thing you know, you as a golfer, when you're practicing, can go, oh, I didn't think I was gripping it when my club face was twisted that far off target.
Yeah.
Oops. And you know what? People get so much better when they see that little visual, and then they can take it off. It's like a little training aid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's not like a little training aid. It is a little training aid.
It's a visual. It is, man, it makes people hit better shots.
Yeah.
Because they just forget to pay attention to the simplest of simple things. Where in the heck is my club face as I have it in my hands? They mess it up all the time.
Yeah. And you don't realize it until you hit the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing worse than hitting the ball well and seeing it go somewhere bad.
Right. And, the other day I was working with a guy up the Sagamore, and I broke out this little tool, and I asked him, I said, you got an old nasty ball in your bag? We were working on pitching, and he was topping shots, and he just was hitting terrible shots, and I needed him to focus, and I needed him to get the club to the bottom of the golf ball, and he was just having trouble. So I said, do you have an old golf ball? He's like, yeah, I got a couple of them. Like, can I have those? So he gives them to me, and I get out my little tool and I cut them in half. What? Huh. I bought a tool. I went to the hardware store. It's a thing that cuts PVC pipe.
Oh, okay.
Looks like a little pruning shears.
No, we call it a saw. Oh, okay.
No, it's a little it's a little pruning shears. You just crunch it down. It's got a little ratcheting thing. Click, 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 and then boom, the ball's cut in half.
Okay.
So I cut 2 balls in half. So he's got 4 half golf balls there. Mm-hmm. And he looks at me and goes, what are we doing here? So I turned them upside down. So the flat part is up and the half a ball is sitting on the, the bottom half of the golf ball is sitting like a regular golf ball. I'm like, okay, chip these. Guess what? Chipped everyone really cleanly. So when you take away a half of a golf ball, they only got the other half left. All of a sudden you hit the bottom of the ball real quickly. And it makes people better.
Yeah.
I do it a lot, and I'll send them away with their own golf balls to chip inside. Hey, and all of a sudden they can get the club to the bottom of the ball. And it's a simple thing to just, I mean, the thing cost me $20. It just cuts PVC pipe.
Yeah.
You stick a golf ball in there and clunk, clunk, clunk. You got it, and it's cut. And you got a golf ball cut exactly in half. Next thing you know, you're looking at it going, wow, I didn't see that coming.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Hey, can you real quick do something for me? And I have to admit that I've been playing golf for a long time, but I still can't tell you the difference between a chip and a pitch.
Okay. So chip shots don't get up in the air very much and don't fly very far, but they roll on the ground a lot. So it's a low, flat shot, not arcing up in the air shot. A chip shot is one that, let's call it a low forward.
Okay.
Right? That's what it does. It goes low and it rolls forward.
Okay.
All right. And a pitch shot is one that's kind of defined by it flies higher in the air and lands softer and doesn't roll out very much.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they call those a high soft. So those are the two kind of big pictures that you could have. The launch of the ball on a pitch shot is up in the air, higher than your head, so to speak, right? And then it just doesn't roll out a whole lot. So it's more in the air than it is on the ground, where a chip shot is more on the ground than it is in the air. Make sense?
Makes perfect sense to me.
Okay. I don't know why they call them chips and pitches, though.
Yeah.
Right? You can call them anything you want, right? I hear people call them bump and run.
Mm-hmm.
Or chip shot, right?
Yeah.
A toss for a lob shot or a pitch, right?
Because the other day I was a little bit off the green and somebody came and said, "You gonna chip that or pitch it?" I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just gonna hit the shot. We'll see what happens.
You tell me. What do you think I should do?
So people ask me that question as a teacher, would you chip this or pitch this? I said, well, what does the shot tell you it needs to do? Do I have to get it up over this bunker?
Mm-hmm.
Do I not? Does it give me an option? Like, am I in the fairway and I'm just short of the green and the pin's up front? Can I bounce it there? If I can, maybe that's an option for me.
Yeah.
Do I need to fly it there? If I need to fly it over something, then I do. Right. If I don't, then I can choose, right?
You can.
And then you can choose your landing spot and then what happens to the ball after that. So if you choose a running shot, one that, let's say you use a shot that doesn't have as much loft on it as one that flies higher and lands shorter. Let's say you use let's say a pitching wedge. Mm-hmm. And you put it in the middle of your stance and you sweep it on through there. And next thing you know, the ball jumps up in the air a little bit, flies a little bit, and rolls a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's about, halfway the distance in the air, and then it rolls another halfway, and then you got it to the hole. But sometimes you want to fly it in the air, so maybe you need a sand wedge or possibly even a lob wedge and throw it there, say 3/4 the way there in the air, and let it bounce and roll the other, quarter of the way there.
Right. Yeah. So you can chip with a pitching wedge, huh? Which just adds to the confusion.
I know. Isn't that funny? Isn't it funny? You sit there and you go, really? and so that's why, because you see, every set of clubs has a pitching wedge in it, but they don't have a chipping wedge in it, and everybody's getting confused.
Exactly. And why is it you got a pitching wedge, but you stop there when you buy a set of clubs, and you have to do the sand wedges and the lob wedges and the gap wedges extra?
Well, a lot of sets are coming with gap wedges now.
Okay.
And they're doing that because all the lofts are so cranked up, they're cranked down, I suppose. Yeah. That they, still keep that shot in the bag, because what they're doing is they're dividing, What they're doing is they are creating shots from different distances, all these clubs that they're cranking them. So the lofts are so cranked that you can really hit them out there a long, long way. So pitching wedges are going a lot further, but people are still inside of a pitching wedge a lot. So the next one down is still a full swing club. Yeah. And so they design it the same way.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's kind of like they just changed the numbers on the bottom of the club and shoved them up one. Right. Seems like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. We'll just change the loft and tell people we can hit you farther with this club.
It seems like what's going on.
This 7-iron will go farther than any 7-iron you've ever hit, because it's the same loft as your 5. Okay. We've got some more. We'll be right back. Hang with us. We're on those weekend golf guys. last time. That was number 4, right?
I think so, yeah.
All right, I lost track. Here we go with number 5. Is that
Basic math you're struggling with, John?
And we're back, those weekend golf guys. John Ashton here, Jeff Smith there. Okay, so no overriding topic today, but I think a lot of interesting conversation. I really like the stuff from ShotScope. I think if you just pay attention to those numbers, and you can look them up, we've got an article on the website, thoseweekendgolfguys.com, that will delineate all that stuff for you. Just keep in mind that
was like an SAT word, wasn't it?
Delineate. Yes, it was. Yeah.
Wow.
I got an 800 on my English SATs, by the way.
Is that good?
That's high as you can get.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the old scale?
Got a 540 in the math. I kid. It wasn't that bad. It was a 580. But anyhow.
Oops.
Yeah. Just keep in mind that, don't be depressed, because so many of us get so depressed if we hit a great drive and it only goes 210, 220 yards. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Okay?
If that's the case and you have too much club going into the greens, move up.
Move up. Exactly.
Or come see me.
Yeah, and that too.
Fix the problem, right?
Or he'll fix the problem, or say, hey, listen, the official, move up.
Well, a lot of times, people, I had an interesting conversation with a guy earlier today, and of course, he wants more distance, because that's what everybody, they want 3 things,
Sure.
right? They want it to go far. They want to be under control of the ball. They want to feel good all the time. But, he's talking to me about distance. And what's the first thing everybody says when they don't have enough distance? I need more club head speed.
Mm-hmm.
As if that's the only factor at all.
Right.
And there's 3 factors in distance. And it's ball speed, it's launch angle, and it's spin.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, ball speed, well, that's just club head speed. No, it's also, where you hit it on the face.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, John, that you actually swing a club at, let's say 90 miles an hour.
That's about right.
Swinging your driver at 90 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
John, if you hit it on the bottom of the club on the heel, do you think you're going to get the same ball speed as if you hit it in the sweet spot of the club?
My guess would be no.
Your guess would be right. You're correct. It's not even going to be close to the same ball speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about the launch angle? You think they're going to be different?
They will be different.
Yeah. How about the spin? You think they'll be different?
It will be drastically different, and probably negatively effectively different.
See, so one could really pick out the fact that center face contact, hitting it in the sweet spot of the club,
That's what you
is
need.
actually a big deal.
Big deal. And it's the deal that Jeff Smith and his ilk can make you do. So go see your local PGA pro, take a lesson or 2, or go to thoseweekendgolfguys.com and ask Jeff a question, or go to facebook.com and watch some of Jeff's videos. It's facebook.com/golfguys, by the way. We can do that for you. Or just listen here every weekend.
And you're just going to hear us tell you to hit it in the middle of the face.
Hit it in the middle of the face, and then go out and just regale yourself on how well you're playing golf.